Welcome to your Chapter 3 Explanation of Visual Basic. Okay, Zwila's ready to go on and she's lost her thumb drive. Let's just pretend for a minute. So she goes out to Blackboard and says, I can get my zipped file from there. This is true. Right mouse button, save target as, put it on the desktop. And then we'll go right mouse button, extract all. In Windows, of course, it's a one-click operation. Windows 7. A little longer in XP. But I'm going to show you why this is not the best way. If you remember before, we had a folder and then we went right in and there was the solution file. Oh, now this time I have a folder inside a folder, and it takes me an extra level to get there. If you keep zipping and unzipping, zipping and unzipping, you could end up with 4 or 5 layers of extra folders. This is why we don't encourage you to do this unless you, of course, can figure out a way to reduce the number of inside folders, and you can do that. I'm going to delete these two. Zwila looked around a little bit and she found her thumb drive. Oh goody, there it is. So somewhere on here there should be CIST 1100 assignments, yes. Hotel room selection, yes. We will simply send that to the desktop. Oh, look, it says create a shortcut. That's how students make that mistake. Not a good plan. Instead, I will drag it to the desktop. See the plus sign? It means it's copying it. Okay, I'm done with the thumb drive. So now I have my folder from the other day, and bingo, we're right into it. The easiest way is to simply click on the solution file, and it's the one with the 10 on it if you don't have your extensions showing. Alternatively, you can have Visual Studio started and then go File, Open, Project. Now this time it doesn't matter. We don't have to have it in that spot underneath My Documents. We can go right to the desktop and it's going to work just fine. And then the solution, and it will bring it up. It takes a little while. While we're waiting, one of the things that you're going to need is a set of 2 JPEG pictures. Those are in Blackboard underneath Programming Chapters 1 through 3. Chapter 3, see there's the 2 pictures. We could save those to the desktop. And then we'll have them for later. I don't need quite as wide a pane or panel over here. And I'm not sure that I even need the toolbox. We'll see. But to get your form to show, you can double click it here and then single click it in 2 places. A variety, experiment. And then it brings up the form as we had it before. They call it the mock-up. I don't know why. Looks real to me. So we're going to make sure that the form is selected, and then we're going to, on page 160, we're going to find the back color. Remember, these are alphabetical, and I can find back color there. We don't want, not sure that we want system, I think we want web. If necessary, click the web tab. It'll be necessary. And then we're just going to have to scroll until we reach it in the list. Unfortunately, they are not alphabetical, but similar colors are grouped together. So when I get into the yellows, slow down, and goldenrod and corn silk. All right. So observing where that was, if you're viewing the video, it was not quite halfway down. It was after orange and before khaki. All right. Select the buttons next. Select them using techniques you learned previously, like drawing a box around it, holding down Control, and getting the fourth one that way. Now the back color for this one, hey, I'm going to be a little smarter and look at their example. They kind of show us the location where it would be. And look, sure enough, there's light salmon. All right. Personally, I would hit the Save All. Then it says to download them. Okay, I already pre-did that. And now you must import them into the Pictures folders. You know what? Deselect your buttons. It seems like the menus work a little bit better if you don't have the wrong thing selected. You must import them into the Resources folder. This is on 162. And specify the picture box where they will be displayed. So, select the Standard Room picture box. In its Properties window, select Image, click the three dots, that's the ellipsis. In the Select Resources box, which is where we're at, click the Import button. And they're on the desktop. Standard Room Pick. Double click or else single click and open, and then click OK. And then it says do the same thing. Well, I'm going to let you do that on your own, okay? Do the same thing for the deluxe picture. I'm going to do that off screen. Okay, I'm back. Select Standard Room again. You'll notice that we cannot see all of the picture. There is a property called Stretch, and that is under the Size mode. Normal, Stretch, Auto Size Center. Be careful with Stretch. You can really get some odd things, but it squeezes it pretty good. What they did was picked the sizes of the picture boxes to be one of those standardized proportions, so it works out. So you'll do the same thing for that one. Stretch it, which is funny because it's really squeezing it down. And then it says for both of these, set the visible property to false. I selected them both. They had you do them one at a time in the book, but you can do them both at once. Now, visible is a true-false property, and you can just double-click it. Boom, and it changes it to whatever the opposite is of what you have. And we also need to do the same thing for the confirmation message. Make visible false. Run your program to make sure that your rooms don't show and that ending message doesn't show. So sure enough, no rooms, no ending message. Well, there's two buttons that are what they call disabled, not enabled. It means you can't click on them. And those two are the two middle buttons, the Select Room. So I'm going to select them both and go up to Enabled. And say Enabled is false. That's on page 166. I'm going to run it again. And this time you can see that the two buttons in the middle are faded out, which means they cannot be selected. Okay, this would be a good spot to take a break before we go on to the next one. So come back in a few minutes and view the next